As always, I welcome you to the podcast. I'm your host, Clint Jackson, and this is Let's Talk Sports Podcast presented by FO Film Division. And today we'll take a look at Cody Bellinger and the Cubs as they move towards a contract that works for both player and organization. Also, the NBA playoff picture, seeding, and who'll be playing who. And finally, Clarissa Shields as she takes on DeSantis this past weekend and how her MMA career is shaping up so far. But up first, Cubs center fielder Cody Bellinger has gotten a new deal signing for 3 years, $80 million, and this comes at a great time for both sides per reports. Insiders say that there were times that both parties were dancing on what would be a good deal for each party involved. Bellinger has opt outs, including that if he doesn't like the deal, he can leave in the first or second season. However, he'll be receiving a $30 million salary this season and a $30 million salary in 2024. And if he doesn't opt out, he'll receive $20 million in the final year of the 3-year deal. Bellinger's deal is dependent upon a physical, but I'm sure there'll be no problem there. Although before joining the Cubs, he did have a down season or two after dealing with a lingering shoulder injury. So Cody can be versatile, and that's a reason the Cubs have good faith in the first base / center fielder. He also has a Silver Slugger Award as a member of the Cubs, so there's a lot to be hopeful of if you're a Cubs or a Cody fan. Now on to the NBA and the playoffs. We'll take a look at the seeding where all the teams stand, and as of today, the conference bracket and who will be playing who. So let's get right to it. This would be the Eastern Conference seeding if the playoffs started today. You'll have the number 1 Boston Celtics, the number 2 Cleveland Cavaliers, the number 3 Milwaukee Bucks, the 4 New York Knicks, the 5 Philadelphia 76ers, 6 Indiana Pacers, 7 Miami Heat, 8 Orlando Magic. The play-ins would be the 9 Chicago Bulls and the 10 Atlanta Hawks. And how it would play out is you would have number 1 Boston Celtics play the 8 of the play-in winner. The Cleveland Cavs would be the number 2, would play the 7. The number 3 Milwaukee Bucks would have to face off against the 6 Indiana Pacers, and the 4 Knicks would play the 5 76ers. And as for the Western Conference seeding, you have the Timberwolves being number 1, the number 2 team being Oklahoma City Thunder, the number 3, the LA Clippers, number 4, the Denver Nuggets, number 5, Phoenix Suns, number 6, New Orleans Pelicans, 7, the Mavericks, the 8 team being Sacramento Kings, play-ins being Los Angeles Lakers and Golden State Warriors. So the West would have the number 1 Timberwolves versus the number 8 play-in team, the number 2 also playing the 7 play-in team. The number 3 would take on the 6 being the Pelicans versus Clippers, and the number 4 Denver Nuggets would face off against the Phoenix Suns, which would be the 5. So with these matchups in the season closely approaching an end, these teams may shuffle a bit, but I think what we have before us are clear participants in the dance, and one of the teams mentioned will be crowned NBA champion at the end of the season. And finally, we have Clarissa Shields, who was back in action this weekend, but not in the boxing ring. And if you didn't know, the Detroit native also does mixed martial arts in the PFL and has been lights out, no pun intended. But the boxing champion debuted in Saudi's first women's pro fight against Kelsey DeSantis in Saudi Arabia, where she won by split decision. Shields was competing on the undercard of the Professional Fighters League's Champions versus Champions event, and she at times struggled in the ground game. She still found ways to come away with the victory, but when asked about the transition, Shields had this to say: "It was such a hard camp. It's not easy what I'm trying to do. I've been so respectful to the sport and I put in a lot of work. And I can personally say it's showing because the two-weight undisputed champion continues to wow her fans and fans of the sport of boxing and MMA. Shields is currently 2-1 in MMA and is looking to take over the sport just as she did in boxing. And it stands, she's doing just that. I've been your host, Clint Jackson. This has been another episode of the Let's Talk Sports podcast. And if you've enjoyed this content, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share. And we really appreciate all the support that we've been receiving. It's been amazing and appreciated. Until next time, bye.